Hi, this is Lori from GLP-1 Journey in Review. Today, we're doing a video in my interview series where we talk to people about their weight loss. I want to remind everybody that I am not a healthcare provider. My guest is not a healthcare provider. We're only talking about what works for us. Today, we have with us Chantel, who is also a content creator. We'll talk about that. Uh, I want to remind everybody that her information is going to be linked down below in the description. So if you find this useful, please hit that like and subscribe. Then jump over to Chantel's channel, like and subscribe. She's got some really good stuff there. If you are planning a weight loss journey, I do strongly advise that you consult with a healthcare provider. All that being said, Chantel, why don't you introduce yourself?
Thank you so much, Lori. Hi, everyone. My name is Chantel. I am the creator of Creatively Well. That is my YouTube channel. I am an art therapist in training. So, in the process of my GLP-1 journey, I'm also starting grad school. So, things have shifted on my weight loss journey, but I'm still so grateful to continue to share on YouTube and TikTok and just be honest about it because we need more honest perspectives on this journey.
So tell me a little about your journey, like how much weight have you lost? What medication are you on?
Okay. So I've been on Wegovy since September 22nd of 2024. So it's been a year now. I am actually in the process of switching over to compounded options because of insurance changes. And I've lost a total of about 78 pounds in a year. It's more weight than I've ever lost in my life. So I'm really grateful.
Oh, that's great. So what made you choose Wegovy over Zepbound?
Well, to be completely honest, I worked for the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid during the pandemic, recently laid off. So that's why I'm switching medications. But I was actually doing some research for us, like just looking up articles on Wegovy, and it said that there were a lot of potential, I guess it decreases the factors of like having a stroke or heart disease and things like that. And
Mhm.
those run in my family heavily. So I was really hesitant to try a GLP-1 medication. I tried phentermine, and my doctor was saying, like, it's just a once a week shot. You could try it. And I was like, yeah, I don't know about that because I didn't like the idea. But then I hit 300 pounds and something shifted for me. I was like, I have certain things that I'm trying to do in my life, and my health is just continuing to spiral out of control. And that's what prompted me to pick Wegovy because of the benefits for heart health, as well as just hitting a point where I felt like it's now or never.
Yeah, I know years ago the medications. Right now, the name's escaping me, but basically it was speed that they used to prescribe years ago.
Oh my
So,
gosh.
and then you just basically didn't eat because of it. Yeah, I'm talking back, 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
So for me, GLP-1 was just like totally different because I didn't know what to expect because of that. I didn't know how it was going to affect me. So when you first tried it, were you afraid of how you were going to feel?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'd never done an injection of any kind, especially one that I had to do. I was like, the
Mhm.
idea of me injecting myself was insane to me. I was also afraid of what I was hearing because everyone on this journey, which I'm grateful for platforms like yours, because everyone on this journey is researching. The internet is just our oyster. It can be the thing that helps us and the thing that holds us back. So I was hearing about nausea, I was hearing about people losing hair, I was hearing about all of these side effects, and I make sure to address those on my channel because there are so many factors and varying factors for people, and your body just responds differently because your body is made up completely different than the next person, and you might look alike, but your makeup is different. And
Mm,
so I was
absolutely.
afraid. I was completely afraid of like what might happen.
Have you had any side effects?
I have. I'm very transparent about this. The early part of my journey was where I know I had to shift my mindset first, but I tried to like dibble and dabble in some gumbo that my partner was eating, and I had the worst nausea I've it's like when you're it's one thing when you're sick and you have to throw up to feel better, but
Hmm.
I ate I ate the gumbo, and later that night I was up in the middle of the night, and I didn't actually throw up, but I was literally to the point of vomiting, like to the point of almost being there, and I drank water. But that one thing I've noticed is that the side effects only come when I don't do my part. Like the medication works with me if I do my part, if I make sure I'm eating right, I'm exercising portion control, I'm drinking my water and staying hydrated, then my body seems to feel okay. But the second I step out of line, the side effects come down pretty harsh.
And you say that you're switching to compound. I'm assuming you've done a lot of research and you know which pharmacy or which um, telehealth you're going to be using.
Yes, I am actually a partner with Mochi Health, and
Yeah, I
I
use them.
really? Oh my
Mm-hmm.
gosh, I did not know. That is so cool. So, I've been a partner with them since the beginning of this year, and I've done some short form content with them. And now that my YouTube is doing better, I'm doing more YouTube with them. I switched to them also because I recently switched providers to like my doctor is a Kaiser doctor, and we both understood that Wegovy was not going to be covered under my new insurance plan. They didn't have the history of my health that would allow me to still be eligible. So that was one of the places that my doctor brought up. And I was like, great, we already work together. I'm so happy to hear that. And I'm actually having my first meeting with the doctor next week. So I'm really
That's
excited.
awesome. Have you considered other peptides? Like, I know, for example, I just recently started using their NAD plus. Not enough to really do a video or know how it's working. It's only been like 2 weeks. But have you
Mhm.
considered any of the other peptides with it?
I have not, and I'm hoping to learn more when I meet with the doctor and the nutritionist and everyone on the team, so I can figure out what my options are. But no, what exactly is that, and what's the process?
Uh, it helps. It's another injection, and it also comes cold. They have you, depending on your provider and your dose, 2 to 3 times a week. And it's supposed to, they say it's supposed to help with longevity. I don't know how well it actually does that, but especially as we get older, which I am, you lose some naturally, and it helps with focus. And it also gives you a little bit more energy. So some people that feel that shot fatigue, it helps. Again, like I said, it's too soon for me to know if it's working. I'm just trying it out. So far, so good. But I need to give it a good 3 months before I could make a real judgment.
Absolutely. Understood. I'm really excited to hear about that. I might have to ask because I know exactly what you're talking about. That fatigue
Mhm.
definitely kicks in.
And now I was watching one of your videos where you tried a patch. Tell me how that went.
I did. And I call myself like volunteering as tribute. Like, okay, I'll go off of my injection for 2 weeks. And of course, I didn't talk to my doctor about that. So please do not try that at home. Exactly. But I tried that because I saw it on TikTok and they were branding it as a GLP-1 patch. So I'm like, okay, let me see if it's comparable because I've now been on a GLP-1, so I can say how similar they are, how different. And I will say my hunger came back really like it came back roaring because I'm on 1.7 milligrams right now. And so 2 weeks without that and then trying a patch was just like a bit of a shocker. It worked if you're not used to a GLP-1 injection. If you're not used
Mhm.
to it, I think it's good to just like take the edge off of like some things. But I know that with what I struggle with, I've been obese my whole life pretty much. And so I know that my journey is not going to look like the person who's just like, just started eating out of whack or just started having cravings that are different. It would be
Mhm.
different for someone with that journey versus someone like me who has struggled my whole life with my weight and with my health.
Now, I know you're not a healthcare provider or you can't tell the future, but do you think that that could be helpful to somebody that's on their maximum dose along with the shot to like help them if they're struggling?
Hmm. I'm not sure actually because I feel like the GLP-1 in itself does so much that
Hmm.
anything additional may or may not add to it. And it might also vary. Someone said in my comments that it was like vitamins that like secrete through the patch into
Hmm.
your skin. And I think it could be beneficial, but I also feel like personally, it feels like too great of a risk to try two things at once like that.
Hmm. I
Personally.
hear you.
Yeah.
I hear. So, what was exactly your aha moment that made you decide, I have to do something. I'm going to go on a GLP-1 medication?
Mm. That is a great question. I haven't really shared this online, but I
Oh,
am in a
share, sister, share.
yeah, I'm like, well, this is an exclusive. I am in a same-sex marriage and we have to go through a non-traditional journey to have kids. And with us getting married and deciding like that's where we're going, we're creating our timeline. We went to the doctor, to the clinic and everything, and they're like, I can't get you pregnant at this weight. Like you have to lose weight. And so that was another motivator for me because since I was like the age of 5, I knew I wanted to have children and especially
Hmm.
carry. I wanted to experience that at a very young age. I knew I'm like, I want to be a mom and I want to do it that way. And so I wasn't going to let my weight get in the way. I wasn't going, and I also know that having kids, I want to be able to show up for them. I want to be able to be healthy enough to run around with them and have the energy to exist with them. In the life that I was living, I couldn't. I hit 30 and I went through like a mental health thing. I went through a physical health thing. I just completely started a transformation towards the end of 2024 where I was like, I can't keep going like this. Something has to change. And it became looking at my future, having something to hope for, knowing that what I want out of life requires for me to be healthy, physically and emotionally and mentally.
That's what people seem to be learning on their journeys, that it's not just about weight, it's about overall health. And that's just so important to know, because not everybody's going to lose weight all the time, not everybody's going to lose inches. You have to look at the whole picture, and it's about health.
Yes. Yes. And even on top of that, I think another shift that comes with it is body image. For people who have struggled with their weight their whole life, I don't know about everyone else, but I attach like identity to being a big girl. Like, oh,
Hmm.
I'm just a big girl. That's just who I am. It's my identity. And so now there's this shift where I'm like, if I lose weight, am I still like body positive? Am I still this? Am I still that? And being able to show up and love on myself in a new way and say, like, this is beyond me just looking a certain way. This is about how I feel on the inside. This is about how I conduct my life day to day. This is about my mental health that is being affected by my physical health. Like you said, it's holistic. And
Hmm.
I've had to shift my identity in that way.
So it obviously affects your mental health. Have you noticed a big difference with that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. When I first started, I had high blood pressure. I also had some thyroid levels that were a little bit off, not to the point where they wouldn't let me get the medication,
Hmm.
but I did have some levels that were off that could affect my mental health. And I was also going through like personal things that were just contributing to me chipping away at myself. And so, yeah, since losing weight, it's like my physical levels have balanced out as well as like my coping skills. Like going to the gym and like seeing it as an act of self-care, or even not even going to the gym. Sometimes I'll just go for a good walk with my dog and
Hmm.
like that has contributed to my mental health. And of course, like it's physical, but it's also very mental for me.
So, sorry, just lost my train of thought there for a second. Just getting over a cold. Apologize.
Oh,
Uh, First of all, I want to congratulate you and wish you luck on your pregnancy endeavor whenever it happens. Hopefully, you'll keep us informed with that.
Yeah.
And then I want to know about your Wegovy injections. You say you were scared. Obviously, it's a pen. Are you a stomach injector? Are you an arm injector? Leg? Do you rotate? How do you navigate that?
Ooh. Well, I recently looked back and I think I started in maybe March or April. That was when I started to alternate because I ran across that in my research. Like, oh, you should alternate spots. It'll help you with your weight loss, or you can just see what effects it has on you. So I was a stomach injector for the first 6 or 7 months of
Mhm.
my journey. And then now I alternate between thigh, arm, and stomach just to give it, I don't know. I feel like if you switch up your routine, your body's more likely to try to adapt. And in turn, I feel like you get better results. Kind of like if you switch up your workout routine or you even switching up the way you drive home, it can do something for your
Mhm.
brain, I've heard. But that was pretty much what I did on that with switching.
Have you noticed a difference in the sites? 'Cause some people say, "Oh, side effects. Oh, arm. If you want more appetite suppression in your leg." I don't know how true that is.
Hmm. That's a really good question. I think the stomach is like the holy grail for me. I know I'm comfortable with it. I feel like I ace that injection every time. The thigh injection, I'm still working on because I will say, as you lose weight, it gets harder to like pinch the fat. And I don't think we
Right.
talk enough about that. And if you're building muscle, then the muscle might get in the way based on your location. But I will say the thigh injection, I definitely think it has more of an impact. That is something I've noticed for me. The arm and stomach they're okay for me. I think the stomach is the one that I'm most used to. Like nothing really happens because it's just like
Mm,
it's just what we do.
me too. 95% of the time, I'm in the stomach because I just actually learned how to. Drop my microphone here. I
Oh,
just actually learned how to do my fix this here. How to do my arm uh, not using a pen because that could be a little tricky with one person. So
exactly.
I just started doing that, and when I did my leg, I don't have a lot of fat on my leg, and it hurt.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm primarily a stomach, uh, but I am trying other sites, but I don't know if I could really tell a difference.
Gotcha. The thigh is
Uh,
interesting. Recently, I posted a video of me doing my thigh injection. Some people have said they've done the inner thigh, but that makes me nervous because I've heard that there are a bunch of like veins and stuff that flow through your inner thigh. So I get nervous about that part. But recently, I did a thigh injection and I was a little shaky. And so it bled a little bit afterwards. And it was fine. It wasn't like I couldn't control
mhm.
it, but it was just like, okay, that's not what I want to experience on injection day.
So you're using the Wegovy. Have you tried the compound yet, or is that coming up?
Oh, it's coming up, and I am nervous because Wegovy, you don't see the needle. You just kind of
Hmm.
see it just kind of pops and does its thing. But with compounded, you see the needle. So that is going to be an adjustment for me. Do you use compounded?
I use compounded, and I've never injected myself before that. And the first time, it probably took me about 10 minutes. Like, oh, you could do this. It's not gonna. And finally, when I did it, I'm like, that was it. I didn't even feel it.
Oh my
So
God.
after that, I had absolutely no problem. My biggest, and I'm not going to say it's a problem, is because sometimes even Mochi or any of the other companies will use multiple pharmacies,
Mhm.
and even though the medication is the same, uh, even with the same pharmacy, sometimes the strength is different. So the amount that you draw up could be different. Where, for me, my dose is 7.5. Sometimes it's 50 units, sometimes it's 70 units, depending on how strong that particular bottle is to equal that. So again, I always warn people, keep the bottle, keep where the directions are, because every bottle could be slightly different.
Wow. Noted. I'm taking that and putting it in my pocket because I'm that.
So, have you had any other unusual effects? You know, like they say, if you lose weight too quickly, you could have hair loss. We were talking about fatigue before. Anything, out of the ordinary?
Um, One thing I will say is yes, I did it. I experienced some hair thinning. You can't really tell now. I've cut my hair this summer. I cut my hair off and went blonde, and I'm back blonde for the fall. But I had some thinning in the top when I had more hair up here. I could tell, but since I think around when I hit the 50, I hit 50 pound, I hit my 50 pound weight loss and plateaued. Then I hit 75 pound weight loss and kind of plateaued. That's where I am now, just kind of like plateauing and trying to like switch up my routine so I can get some more weight loss. And another thing I've noticed is that I've been really cold. I'm colder than ever.
Mm,
Of course, I used to be super insulated, but now
right.
I'm cold everywhere. It was 80 degrees outside, and I knew that where I was going was going to have AC. So I wore a sweater and I was just fine the whole time.
I hear you. I live in South Florida, and it's very rare to find me not in long sleeves.
Right.
Plus, I work in an outpatient center, and we keep that at 68 degrees anyhow. So
See?
it's chilly.
Exactly. You got to stay warm. You got to prepare yourself.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, are you a tracker, or do you just kind of wing it?
Mm. At the beginning, I was a tracker. I was working with a trainer at the beginning of my journey, which was really helpful. I had a meal plan, I had a workout plan, and I worked out maybe 3 to 4 times a week. And I was following my meal plan for the most part. I did struggle with some emotional eating, so that kind of got in the way a little. But like once I got on a good flow, I was okay. Um, but as of now, I think I need to go back to tracking. Like where I am in my journey now, a year in, I think I need to go back to seeing what it looks like. And also, I've been on 1.7 milligrams for a while now. So the effects of like my hunger suppression or my appetite suppression is a little different. So I'm not gauging as much. And I'm in grad school now, and that is super busy. I have an internship, I'm on the go a lot. When I started school at the end of August, my appetite like skyrocketed. I was snacking so bad because I was adjusting to a new routine. And so I need to track because I need to plan for moments like that. When I'm stressed, I'm going to want something to eat. So I need to plan for it and have some better options because if you don't plan, what they say, it's like if you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. That's exactly what happens on my journey.
Are you going to be one of the few people that actually takes advantage of the free nutritionists that they have on Mochi?
Yes, that appointment is scheduled. Absolutely.
Okay, good, good.
Yeah.
Most people that I talk to don't even take advantage of that, and I'm a little guilty of that too because, like I said, I work in an outpatient center, and we have people that specialize in nutrition and that kind of give me tips, but I don't think it's really the same as a sit down, you know, a real talk about me with them and so forth. So I think that would help a lot of people.
Absolutely. And I think the next layer is actually listening because with the last clinic I worked with, I did have like a couple appointments with the nutritionist, but I can't say I actually listened. So that's going to be the extra layer for me, like taking the information and actually use it to my advantage.
So, what
Yeah.
kind of diets have you tried before the GLP-1 medication?
Well, like I said, I've been struggling with my weight for as long as I can remember. As a kid, going to the doctor, it was always a weight thing. If I had any other issue, it was, well, look at your weight. Well, yeah. And so I tried, I think the Atkins diet, they had the South Beach diet, and those were in like
Hmm.
around middle school. That was when I was my heaviest before recently in middle school. And so I tried a few different diets and it wasn't sustainable because for me there's always the extra layer of the mental health Like, I didn't start therapy until I was about 20. And so being in therapy and being able to actively process different things and have coping skills and whatnot, that has played a big role for me because I need to learn to reach for something else when I'm coping. Because being bullied in middle school, I would emotionally eat. And so that just kind of allowed me to keep on the same hamster wheel when it came to my weight.
Did you tell your family and friends right away when you started this, or did you to kind of like wait to see if it's going to work before I spread the word, or are you secretive about it, other than your channel?
Um, that's a good question. I know my partner knew all throughout the
Hmm.
process, of course, but with the rest of my family, it was partly I knew I kind of had to do it. I've always been the type in my family to just do something, and they're like, "Here she goes, Chantel doing something again." And so, some people I told, like if I saw them in the process, I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm about to start." I think I told my mom, and she had a lot of apprehensions about it. She said, "Well, I saw this and I saw that," and I'm like, "Okay, well, I'll see what my experience is." And now she's like my number one fan. She comments on my YouTube more than anyone else. And it took some time. And I know that with anything, even me being an art therapist in training, people hear art therapy and they're like, what are you doing? And then I'm like, you'll see. You'll see. Just keep watching.
And it's funny that you say that. My wife is my biggest fan and the first to comment on all of my videos and stuff. So it's always good to have that support. Um, what is your workout routine like along with the GLP-1 medication?
Oh, well, early on, I was doing a lot of strength training, which was really good for me. And I did a lot of I did like 20 minutes on the Stairmaster every time I went to the gym. Now, over the summer, I lost my mojo. Over the summer,
Hmm.
I was traveling, I was preparing for grad school, I was barely working out. I might have went swimming here or there, went on some walks, but nothing strenuous. These days, we recently rearranged our gym, so I feel like I'm finally getting my motivation back. We got a stepper, which is like a stairmaster, but it's
Hmm.
home kind, and it's really good. So I've been incorporating that and some core. I love dancing, so when I can incorporate some dance, I love to. And I just do as much as I can day to day because between class and internship, it's rare to just have some time to go work out and not think about doing homework.
What does a day in food look like for Chantel?
um, a day in
Be
food.
honest.
You know, now I've said on my channel so many times that those peanut M&Ms are my weak point. Like if I'm just trying to get through the day and I need a little kick up, I'll start. And it's also like something that's comforting to me. So it's comforting. It's got sugar. Peanut M&Ms will be my little snack. But my partner gets this meal prep and she doesn't usually eat all of them. So I just, sometimes take some for class. So that's usually I think these days it's about 7 ounces of protein and vegetables. So that usually gets me through. I love hummus, so I'll have hummus
Hmm.
with like some pita chips or some carrots or something, and that's a good snack to have. I try to exhaust all of my healthy options throughout the day, and then I get to my unhealthy snacks, which is like the M&Ms. And coming home for dinner, I'm trying to make sure I prioritize eating dinner earlier because I'll just think I'm not hungry because I ate earlier and I'm like, "Oh, I'm not hungry." But then if I stay up past a certain amount of time, I feel my appetite again. And that's when, the snacking comes in or if I eat a meal, one of our meal preps by like 8 at the latest, then I'll be okay for the rest of the night.
Have you tried any of the substitutes like Quest and there's other brands that make like their version of like a peanut butter M&M, for example. My
What?
addiction used to be Reese's peanut butter cups. Well, now I have Quest or some of the other brands, and I actually prefer them. because they don't taste quite as sweet. Last Halloween, there was loads of the real Reese's peanut butter cups, and I tasted one. I'm like, this is really disgustingly sweet. So I actually found that I prefer the substitute.
That's really interesting. I think one way I get it in is like in the morning, I'll make espresso with a Premier protein shake. And
Hmm.
since it's the fall, I use like the pumpkin spice mixed with cafe latte. And so I get like a protein coffee in the morning. And I think with breakfast and lunch, I do pretty good. It's the dinner where I struggle. But I actually was just at CVS last night looking at some of those options. So now I have to pick them up. And like you said, you retrain your taste buds. By the time you go
You
to
do.
taste something else, you're like, it doesn't taste like I thought.
Has your taste buds changed since you've been on the medication?
Yes, yeah. Especially when it comes to salt or like things that have preservatives. Like I had some Tyson's chicken tenders, or I picked up something easy for meal prep and it was chicken strips. But when I went to heat it up, it was really salty for me. And so I feel like a year ago or a year and some change ago, I wouldn't have noticed. But now I am noticing when things are too salty or like you said, too sweet. Like certain juices, I'm like, okay, I can only drink a little bit at a time. Maybe mix it with some water because it's super sweet. Yeah.
Is your comfort food the same now as it was um,
Oh,
before?
no. And that is a grieving process that I don't think we talk about. I used to, specifically around my cycle, I loved Ferrero Rochers, the hazelnut
Hmm.
candy. Oh my God. I used to eat, and I'm almost embarrassed to say, but I used to eat about 12 in one sitting before I started Wegovy. And now, if I have a craving for it, I can only eat one, maybe one and a half. But by the time I go to try the second one, I'm like, oh, I had my fix. And that was unheard of for me. Like growing up, it was unheard of for me. I couldn't keep certain stuff in the house when I like left my parents' house because I was just like, I know me. I know me. I'm gonna overdo it.
Yeah. For me, it was before I take tirzepatide. Before that, it was the food noise, which I didn't even realize I had. It's, that I knew that that piece of cheesecake was in the refrigerator. And I mean, that just kind of, I was obsessed. It was like, I wasn't happy till I actually got up and ate it, hunger or not.
Oh my gosh, that is so relatable. So relatable. Like just aware. It's like you're hyper aware of anything you have at your disposal in the refrigerator. And I think it's similar to if you grew up with siblings and you were on your way home from school thinking about leftovers you had in the refrigerator or one snack that you knew was going to be there and then you came home and your sibling ate it and you were upset. I think I kind of equate that to food noise because it was so normal for me as a kid, but that was also I was just overly obsessed with like food or my next meal or what I was craving and not just thinking about whatever I was doing in the moment, like being at school or being at work. Instead of being fully present, I'm thinking about my next meal.
Apparently, I guess I've always had food noise, even when I was growing up, and I was not a heavy child, but there was these one cupcakes between my brothers and I. They were our favorite, and we literally used to take them and hide them so that the other sibling couldn't eat it. And there were times, not just me, but my brothers would forget where we hid it, and like 3 weeks later, our cleaning person would find it and go, "What the?"
Oh no.
So apparently, I always had some form of food noise. It just, I guess I was more in control of it, and the fact that I wasn't overweight.
Right. Right. It's like we didn't have the language for it. And now that we do, it's like, oh, all the dots are connecting. Now it makes sense.
Absolutely. So, what is your opinion of people like Serena Williams coming out and saying that she needed a GLP-1 medication. Personally, I think it's great. I just wish, and I know she can't do this on her commercials and stuff, but I wish she would have just made mention that her husband sits on the board of Roe,
Yeah.
and then do her commercials. But I don't recall hearing that out of her mouth at all. I've read articles about it, but not coming out of her mouth.
Right. I did hear about that. I appreciate it honestly because people have like an adverse relationship with GLP-1s, especially if they aren't on one. If they've never
Hmm.
tried it, it's like people have a certain judgment about it when the reality is celebrities have been pushing much unhealthier ways to lose weight, unhealthier ways to manipulate your body. They've been pushing that narrative for so long. And it's like now that they're pushing something medical, it's like people are finding an issue with it. I think we need honestly, I studied public relations and journalism for undergrad. So I kind of know with the media how that stuff works. And I just feel like we need better PR for it because, for example, Oprah talking about the GL, she did a special one time about the GLP-1
Hmm.
journey. And I felt so seen and so heard and so validated in my experience with my weight. And I think we need more honest conversations like that. And having a celebrity, of course, magnifies the visibility of it. So I appreciate it. And I do see how it could be a little a little mix up with like her husband being on the board because yes, of course you're going to go with this specific or this specific business to get your GLP-1. But I appreciate the good PR because it
Absolutely.
literally changed my life.
Speaking of the PR, what is your opinion about all these Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro, Zepbound advertising on TV to the public, let alone other medications?
Uh, um, I guess I don't want to say I don't care, but I don't really have an opinion about it. I will say my transparent fear in all of this is how it affects the young people, the children, the people who are like specifically under 25 where their brains aren't
Hmm.
fully developed yet because if your brain isn't fully developed yet, your body sure isn't. And so I know that I started my GLP-1 journey at the age of 30. And so at 30, I knew things were shifting in my body. Like this was just the trajectory I was on my health journey versus someone who's like significantly younger. I worry about how it could affect their self concept. Like, oh, if this is what the world is doing to lose weight, maybe I need to do it. Maybe I need to do it to feel worthy or, this like weight loss in itself take a can take a hit to people's self-esteem. And that is what I worry about because me struggling with my weight for so long, it's like you're always looking to be a better version of yourself instead of acknowledging where you are at every stage of your journey.
Now for me, I think the more information, the better. I'm just afraid that people are going to go to their doctor and kind of not really insist, but you
Mhm.
go to your doctor and you say, I think I should be on Wegovy. Well, what's your doctor going to do? If he says no, in the back of his mind, he's got to be thinking, am I going to get sued if I don't do this?
Exactly.
Or if I, give it to them, like I'm the one that went to college for, 10, 12 years, did my residency and maybe even a fellowship, and I'm letting this TV commercial dictate
Ooh,
how I practice medicine. So, I see the good and I see the bad.
yeah, yeah. I can see that because the clinic that I went to, it was specifically a weight loss clinic. And so this is like the research she had done all her life and everything. And so I think it was really interesting, like you said, to think about the fact that someone who has studied weight loss most of their career, of course, is going to be looking into alternatives
Right.
like versus someone who is like doing like they're your primary care physician. They might have a different approach. They might, for example, I will say my weight loss doctor gave me a list of things to do first just to see if like other factors were causing me to like put on weight. So Like I have PCOS and some other things going on that were affecting my ability to lose weight. And I think that's where it came in, but I can definitely see how it can be pressure, kind of like the opioid epidemic,
Right.
where people are getting paid to give out these scripts that people don't necessarily need. And yeah, I
Yeah.
could see that.
Another fear that I have with some of these GLP-1 medications is I think, whether you have weight to lose or not, if you want better health, if you have a history of heart disease, if you want to, if you have any liver disease, or now they're saying that you have much less chance of getting Parkinson's or Alzheimer's with this, I say go for it. My fear is that you're going to get somebody who really doesn't need it and doesn't really know too much about it and
Mhm.
form some sort of eating, we'll just call it ED because YouTube doesn't like you to really say those words. Um, and, I've seen it, in people that get to their desired weight and they're like, no, I got to keep losing. I got to keep losing. And they're just not happy with, the goal weight. I know during my journey, I had several different goals, but, when I got to 118 and I'm 5'2", I was happy, which kind of put me in the middle of the BMI, even though that's kind of a sucky thing to go by. But I went by it, and I'm just afraid people are going to say, "Well, if I could reach 118, I could reach 108," and then they're going to become underweight, and who knows what's going to happen.
That's a good point because people seeking out GLP-1 medications, a lot of us realistically do struggle with self-image and body image and things like that. And so with, like you said, the wrong person getting their hands on it, it could potentially elevate that because now it's like, okay, I'm actually losing weight now. Um yeah, I want to also add that I saw someone online talk about how they were on Ozempic, and I was under the impression that Ozempic was specifically for people with diabetes. Like, and so I thought that was interesting, but she also is very wealthy, has plenty of money. Like you said, some people can get access to these things regardless. And her narrative around the GLP-1s has shifted where she's now saying like if you don't change your mindset, then it's no point. Like, I don't think you need to do that. You should do it the natural way so that you can like completely shift your mindset. And one thing I kind of say in response to that is like, you're still developing new neural pathways. You're still shifting your mindset around food because now your body is developing a new relationship with food. You just needed something to work on your biology. And so hearing that, I think it's disheartening for her to have such a big platform and that narrative around it, because then people who are on it might feel shame when in reality some of us do need that extra help. She isn't someone who was like obese like in certain categories, so it was just like, you know, some people really struggle with like this is life or death for some people, and I think that
Absolutely.
sensitivity was taken out of it.
And then you get people like Howard Stern, who's now saying, the one advantage I used to have is being skinny. Now you want to take that advantage away from me.
Wow, that's loaded.
Well, when has Howard Stern ever steered away from controversy?
Well, there's that. There's that. Gotta consider the messenger. Gotta consider. Wow.
So what do you say to people that say you don't need the medication, just eat a little less, work a little harder?
Um, I say if it's not your body, stop worrying about it. Like kind of like if somebody's wearing a certain outfit and people are so obsessed, it's like if it's not affecting your body, please let people live. If it is causing harm to someone, to a child, to an elder, any okay, I get it. But if it's not causing you harm, mind your business. I think the reality is, like I said earlier, it really is life or death. And until you are in the shoes of someone who feels out of control in their own body, be it mentally, physically, emotionally, you can't really speak to that experience. And like my doctor told me early on with Wegovy, like this will just help you feel confident in your ability to lose weight. Because for years I had lost a little bit and then gained even more and just kept like seesawing with my weight. And so this was that opportunity to feel really confident in my ability to take control of my life. And it becomes a holistic confidence.
I would like to tell that person to go into this, real gym and go up to that 350-pound weightlifter bodybuilder and say, "You don't need those steroids. Just work out a
Oh,
little bit harder."
mm. And let's see how that goes.
Yeah, to me, it's the same type of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's just different levels for different people. We're all experiencing different things in this life journey. And if we have more grace and compassion for each other, we might be much further along as a society in general, to be honest.
So, what do you think it's going to take for the prices to go down?
You know, I have no idea. That realm is so far outside of my mind, especially being in school. I'm interested to see what's going on with the compounded option because yeah, I don't know. I know that it's been harder for me to get Wegovy. My doctor said, well, according to the insurance, I needed to have diabetes. And it's kind of mind-boggling to think that you have to be sicker or you have to have
Hmm.
more issues to get some help versus allowing it to be preventative. But I guess if you think about economics, it's like the supply and demand. So it's like if the supply goes up, then the price can go down. If the demand goes up and there's less supply, the price is going to stay high. So it's just,
I personally think compounding the GLP-1s is here to stay. I don't know what your opinion is, and I think they're going to take a stab at the new ones, the retatrutides and so forth, when they come out. I don't know if that's going to stick, but it's not looking really good for Eli Lilly or Novo Nordisk right now in court with them stopping the compounding. Do you have an opinion on that?
not really. I haven't done much research in the compounded realm because I just was so focused on Wegovy. I wasn't even sure about Ozempic or Zepbound or any of the other ones. I was so like in the what is it? The rabbit hole I went down was all
Hmm.
Wegovy. So I'm just now looking into compound.
So, has it helped your blood pressure and your other comorbidities?
Absolutely. My blood work last time I checked, and I got my blood work done last month. Everything came back normal. And I think the first time was about 6 months into my Wegovy journey when I went back to my same doctor and well, my primary care physician, and I told her, or I just got my blood work back. When I went to see her, she was so pleased with the fact that I was losing weight. My blood pressure was normalizing. I went to the doctor last week, I think Friday. My blood pressure was like 122 over 72. That was unheard of for me. I even came off of one of my blood pressure
Oh,
medications.
that's great.
I That's why I'm like, it's literally changed my life. And if I would have allowed someone to get in my head, I would have probably been in the position that they are in their journey because most people criticize us on our journeys when they're not taking the risk or they're too afraid. And yeah, I'm excited to be like an early adopter or someone who's willing to take the risk if it means getting a better outcome.
Do you take supplements with this?
I take like electrolytes. Sometimes I'll do um it's like a beet powder and
Hmm.
that helps with like my circulation because I know I had like some heart things. I take beet powder sometimes just to help with my circulation. I haven't taken it recently, but that's pretty much it. Electrolytes just to stay hydrated, keep myself regular. I haven't had any problems with constipation lately. Early on, I did, but because of like my diet and staying hydrated, I haven't had any problems since.
That's great. Tell me a little something about your channel.
Oh, well, before I started sharing my Wegovy journey, I shared a lot of like self development things. I'm into self care. I'm into self preservation. Clearly, art therapy. I'm into just healing in general, making sure you get ahead of your emotional wellness before it gets ahead of you. And so I that's a passion for my of mine, and I made the channel name Creatively Well because creativity and wellness, and like sometimes you have to be creative with your wellness. You have shorter periods of time, little time blocks that you have to take for yourself. And I'm excited to just talk more about that on my channel as well as my GLP-1 journey because I think they all go together. If you're on a
Hmm.
GLP-1 journey, you care about yourself. You want to make sure that you are holistically well. And I just want to provide all the tools that I can for people.
People don't realize that the little hobbies and stuff are just so important to your overall well-being. I was actually uh, on a panel that was being interviewed with Dr. Dan. I don't know if you know who he is, but he's a content creator, and he's like, just recently I got into adult Legos because they
My
keep
God.
me busy. They're fun. They let me be a kid again.
Yeah.
And that's just what he does for his time for his relaxation. So that's very important. So I commend you on incorporating both of them on your channel. Is there a video that you're most proud of?
Oh, well, clearly my most popular video is the one I'm most proud of. It was my 1 month on Wegovy video. That one, like, was literally what catapulted my channel into getting monetized and opportunities. But beyond that, it allowed me to connect with people in a new way. I was sharing something so vulnerable. Honestly, making that video scared the mess out of me, and I almost didn't post it. And now I look at it and I'm like, I look back on that video and I don't even look the same. It was 1 month in. I was like literally maybe like 280 pounds then. And so it was such a shift. It brought in community, it brought in people feeling seen, validated. They heard my honesty, they heard my heart in that video. And it has just been a long time coming. And I'm just really grateful for that video taking off and bringing in the people who needed whatever I was giving.
Besides being linked down below in the description, tell us the name of your channel again.
Oh yes, creatively well. The at is at live creatively well, and I'm also on TikTok as Grada Love, GRADALOVE. That was my stage name when I was doing poetry, so it's kind of just stuck. So that's my TikTok.
And I'll link all of those in the description. Uh, I kind of start wrapping things up with what would you say to somebody thinking of a GLP-1 or just starting a GLP-1 medication?
I would say before you do anything or start your journey, work on your mindset and remind yourself that you are worthy of existing in a healthy body. You are worthy of pouring into yourself before you pour into anyone else. And make sure your mindset is set on your growth before you start. That way, you don't just depend on this one thing. You have to be able to depend on your mindset.
Have you given any thoughts to maintenance or a goal weight?
Yes. So I have another year or so before we start, the active process of pregnancy. So my goal weight, my mom told me I should go a little lower than my goal. I would like to end up at about 200. So I'm thinking 175 so that after pregnancy, there's still room to have a little weight gain because I know my body's going to need to adjust. So at the lowest, 175. That's where I would be most comfortable. I'm sure the scales would say different, but that would be my goal weight.
After your pregnancy and enough time passes where it's safe, would you consider going back on the medication if you needed to?
If I needed to, absolutely. I am no longer afraid. I've done it once, and I now I feel confident in my ability to do it again.
That's great. So, is there anything you would like to say to kind of wrap this up?
I just want to say thank you to you for this platform. I think it's really amazing. When you commented, I was so excited. I went to your channel and I was just like, "Oh my gosh, somebody's doing this." I was like, "This is such a great
Yeah.
idea." Part of me was like, "Why not think of this?" But I just love your platform and
Thank you.
we need it. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for taking time out of your weekend. It's been a pleasure again. All of Chantel's information is going to be linked down below. If you found this useful at all, please hit that like and subscribe button. It really does help. Comment, share. Then again, like I said, go over to Chantel's channel, do the same. So I want to thank you again.
Of course. Thank you, Lori.
With that, that's a wrap.